Well, good evening and welcome to this first of a few catch-up episodes of LoFi listening. It is night time. My children are asleep. Maybe that might produce a softer tone in my voice. I've just moved. That's very LoFi of me. And I've got a weird lighting setup here, so this could be hilarious. But you and me together in the Bible again. I've missed you guys. All right. But to each one of us, grace has been given as Christ apportioned it. This is why it says, when he ascended on high, he took many captives and gave gifts to his people. Well, obviously, clear, obvious reason why that quote's there. Now, I did, just before I hit record, take the opportunity to open up my Bible to Psalm 68 so we could read just a very little bit of it. That's where that quote is from. It says in verse 1, here we go, may God arise, may his enemies be scattered, and may his foes flee before him. And then at the end, it says, you are awesome, O God, in your sanctuary. The God of Israel gives power and strength to his people. Praise be to God. It is a massive, it's a 35-verse psalm of victory, of battle victory for God. And verse 18 says, when you ascended on high, you led captives in your train. You received gifts from men, even from the rebellious, that you, O Lord, might dwell there. So you'll notice there's a slightly different sort of received gifts from men, gave gifts to men. Different sort of thing, depending on your translation, of course. There's some, as far as my vague background knowledge of this, there are some different sort of takes on all of that. But either way, the big picture is that the grace that has been given as Christ apportioned. It comes in the context of God, who has won great victories, who is in control, who is in power, who is returning back to his people with battles convincingly won and him in charge. Then comes and gives and blesses out of the bounty of his victory. So with that in mind, that's my first ever, OT quote in the middle of an NT passage in this LoFi listening format. What is God saying? Well, I'm hearing grace, but there is some kind of favour here from God that is an apportioned version, rather than the overflowing, everyone gets the same forgiveness in the blood of Christ via the Spirit. This is specific. There are graces, specific graces, apportioned graces, appropriately divvied out in various ways as the victor has won us, and then gives to people. He obviously, when you win a victory, there's lots of plunder, and that plunder goes to where you should desire to give it. And so there's something here, I guess, about contentedness and thankfulness. If it is that whatever I have is a gift from God, a grace from God, then why is it that I think of what I have as so little rather than as the glorious spoils of God's victory over the dark powers that be? Whatever meager powers that I have, whatever small, in my mind, abilities or sort of gains in godliness, or the ways that I say no to sin, all those things are graces given as Christ apportioned them when he plundered the devil's kingdom, when he destroyed his power at the cross, and then took many captives and gave gifts to his people. I think I'll leave it at that. Heavenly Father, this is a bit tricky, quite sure exactly how to understand it. I'm out of the flow of passages and things like that. I'm not, got to get back into Ephesians, but I do hear in this you talking about your victory over the devil and sin, and the public return of the King in glory, and that I'm a part of that, and that what I have is a part of your glory train as you defeat the powers of darkness. And so, Father, may the things that I'm proud of be the things that would bring you glory, and may all the things that I have be to your glory. And Lord, help me to see when they're actually pretty valuable and worth bringing you glory. Amen.